across the World Wide Web, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms. This is Jambo Radio! www.jamboradio.co.uk. We are multilingual. We are conversational in the languages you best understand. We are Jambo Radio! Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Moments with Sade and Enoch. My name is Enoch and I'm here with my wonderful hosts.
Belocine.
Yeah, I love it. And we're going to be covering a subject that is very interesting around failures, coming back from failures and, making a success out of oneself. And Belocine will be sort of taking us on that journey. But before we get into that, if you want to join the conversation, you can call the studio. We're on 0141 530-2787. You can also send us a WhatsApp. It's on 0745 990 6822. You can send us a message on Facebook. We are on Jambo Radio Scotland, and on Twitter we are at Jambo Radio 1. Also, we're on Instagram, jamboradio.scotland. That's not all. We also have email, so you can send an email to info@jamboradio.co.uk. And we've got an app as well. So we are on the Apple Store and on the Google Play Store. So you can download Jambo Radio app and you can listen to this episode and a whole host of other episodes that is being produced on Jambo Radio. So join us in the conversation. Today we'll be talking to Belocine.
Yes.
Belocine.
You can call me Belo.
No, let's go Belocine. Let's go full Belocine, and talking about failure, talking about building something out of setbacks, and then also managing all that with a 9-to-5, which I think most people, that's the life they want. They want a 9-to-5 and then a side hustle which then grows and they can live their 9-to-5. But not everybody gets the chance to start that. But something I said once. I said once. I thought about this once and I shared it on social media. I think there's now this expectation for everyone to have a side hustle, right? Almost to the point where if you don't have a side hustle, you're failing. And I thought, it shouldn't be like that. Not everybody should have a side hustle. If you just want to do a 9-to-5, do a 9-to-5.
Exactly.
And if you want to do a side hustle, go for it. But I don't think anyone should be in a place where they're like, everybody has got a side hustle. I need to come up with a side hustle, because it's freaking hard work, right?
Yes.
It's not easy. It's I always say, people that go on to start something, people like yourself and me, I think we're just crazy people, because it's not normal. We're just absolutely crazy, because 9-to-5 is predictable. You know what you're doing, you know what you're getting into, you get your money at the end of the month, you go home. But when you come into this space where you're creative, or you're trying to start something, you're going into the unknown. You're just putting a lot of stress on your body.
Yes, time, effort, and money.
So definitely not for everyone. And if you're not starting a 9-to-5, I mean a side hustle, don't see it as, I failed as an individual. So for us to get into the show, Belocine, do you want to tell us a bit about, just so our listeners can get to know a bit more about you? Tell us a bit about yourself without telling us what you do for work in 30 seconds, and your time starts now.
I am a proud Congolese woman. That's
Congolese
what I
again?
Yes.
No way. What are the chances I'll be speaking to two Congolese guests, back to back? I didn't realize that. Okay,
really?
Okay, Congo.
We here, yes.
Okay, you guys are yes. you're killing shit. Are you okay? So you also speak Lingala?
Well, I was born and raised in France, so I speak Lingala, but with a French accent, which is terrible.
Hey, Lingala is Lingala, right?
Thank you.
Lingala is Lingala.
Tell that to my Congolese brother.
Don't let anyone take your Lingala away from you. You speak Lingala the way you want to and can speak Lingala.
Exactly.
If anyone can't accept you need to cut them out of your life. You're like, there is no one way to speak Lingala. There are different ways to speak Lingala. This is my way.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, I've taken some of your 30 seconds. I'll give you some time back. Okay, continue. So Congolese, proud Congolese woman.
Yes.
Okay.
Proudly French as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love my baguettes. What else? I am a child of God, a very, very deep Christian woman.
Okay.
What else? I don't know, actually.
It's all right. So some of the key things you've said there is Christianity, that matters to you a lot.
Yeah.
Identity as a French woman matters to you a lot.
Yeah.
And your identity as a Congolese woman matters to you a lot. So those are sort of the three things that I pick from you describing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's powerful because, and the reason why we do it that way is because normally when you ask people, what do you do? Tell us about yourself. They say, yeah, I'm a accountant, tailor, whatever. But they don't get to actually tell us who they are, what they stand for, what matters to them. So by stripping out that, what do you do? You actually get to meet people like, who are you? Okay, fantastic. So we also, I'm always fascinated by names, right? So your full name is Belocine Musolo.
Tensia Mbungo.
Right. Okay. I'll stop on Musolo. So do these have meaning?
Yes.
They must have meanings. Okay. Do you want to break that down for us? I'm always fascinated by names.
My first name doesn't have a meaning.
That's Belocine.
Yes.
Is that a French name?
No. I asked my father and I said, where did you get this name from? He said, I was in a bar with a friend and he told me, oh, this name is beautiful. And I was like, yeah. That's just it. No meaning, no nothing.
I'm thinking, it sounds Italian.
Yeah. People actually think it's Belocine Musolo.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And because Musolo is Musolo Congolese.
Yeah, but
that sounds Italian as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, one could think your name is Italian.
Yeah, but no. Okay. Musolo in Lingala means money. And Bongo means money as well. So my name means money.
Money. Okay. So Belocine, no meaning. Well, it means something to your dad. It's beautiful. So we'll say Belocine means beautiful.
Yeah, let's say that.
Then Musolo means money. And then the other two?
Money too.
Yeah, I was thinking Nigerians like money. Just claiming all the money names. money. Call me money.
What can I say?
Okay. So let's take it back then. So you said you were born in France.
Yes.
So let's take that back slightly. I'm guessing your parents were not born in France.
No.
Your parents were born
in Congo.
Both Congolese.
Yes.
And they met in Congo or in France? They met in Congo.
Yes.
And then they decided, oh, I love you so much. Let's go start a life in France. Was it like that or something different?
A bit different.
Yep.
I suppose my parents wanted to have they wanted to have a better life, I suppose. So my dad came in France first.
Okay.
And then he brought my mom and my big brother to France once he was ready.
Okay. And then when your mom came, then you were born in France.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're French born.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. And what city was that? Was that Paris or?
Yes.
Okay.
Paris.
Okay. Proper. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm a Parisian. Shout out to all my French people.
Okay then. So tell us a bit about your early life. So you've got your family there with your big brother, dad, mom. You growing up in Paris. What was that like for you? And what bits of that part of your life do you think has now shaped who you've gone on to be? So 2 questions there.
So after me, I also have siblings.
Okay.
So we are 5 in total. Big family, but very, very joyful home.
Yes.
So it was very good growing up in this house, and I have a good relationship with my family.
Okay.
And being in Paris, well, there's a lot of black people compared to Scotland. So I never felt out of place or anything. It was just fun. So yeah, That's what I would say.
Okay. And then growing up as well, like with your dad, your siblings, your parents, what was that like from the point of view of school, academics, ambition?
You know African parents.
Yeah.
You have to go to school. Yep. You have to have the degrees. You have to succeed.
Okay.
Because my dad, when he was in Congo, he was studying to become an engineer.
Okay.
But when he came to France, he had to change careers because he had to make money to make my mom and brother to come. And he never picked up going back to the university.
So what job did he pick up then when he got to Paris, I guess?
Well, security guard,
Okay.
driving.
Yep.
I don't know how you say in
Yep.
English. You know,
Driver.
like yeah,
Truck driver. And you know what? It's interesting, right? And I was, I don't know if I told you, I was in Edinburgh today. I was meeting folks from Scottish government, and again, just telling them why the organization I founded, Black Professionals United Kingdom, why we exist. It's to make sure that does not happen. What happened to your dad? It's to make sure that does not happen. It's to make sure engineers from Congo don't end up in Scotland doing security guard. It's to make sure when they end up in Scotland, they work as engineers.
Exactly.
Because that's what they should be doing. That's the capacity of their ability. Because if you look at it from France's point of view now, they've lost out on everything your dad could have contributed as an engineer.
Exactly.
I'm not disputing, I'm not saying him being a security guard, that there's nothing wrong with being a security guard.
Yeah, of course.
But if you can operate as an engineer,
hello,
you know, it's a loss for France.
Yes.
And I think, you know, that's why, you know, what I do, I enjoy what I do from the point of view of we're making sure people are doing the stuff they
studied for. Yeah.
And then for the country as well, then people are really adding all the stuff they can to that country. Okay, so your dad sort of did that.
So
and
yeah,
then
he sacrificed his career for his family.
Okay.
So for us to go to university was a must. We had to have degrees. We had to study hard in school. We had to be good.
Yep.
So that's what we did.
Yep. And French is quite different, right? So
Yeah.
I've had a few French friends and they said your system is different. Your system is very classist.
Yes.
Yes. Tell our listeners about that.
So I cannot talk for the Scottish one, but for France, it's very, how to explain? You have to be on the top ones. If you struggle at school, you would be mocked. If you ask questions, you would be mocked because they would be like, "Are you stupid?" Even though asking questions is a normal thing, especially when you're learning. They are very putting people in boxes, and if you are not in a box, then you're outcast and you are. I'm losing my words in English, but it's very complicated.
Okay.
They are very close-minded compared to Anglophone people.
Yep.
They are very close-minded, definitely.
Okay, yeah, because I think he said when you're in school, or maybe high school or secondary school, I don't know what you guys call it, so your teenage years, it's from that point that they start putting people in different sections.
Yes.
So from that point, they start deciding these are the smart ones that will go to university.
Yes.
These are the ones that will go do, I don't know,
Work,
labor.
yeah.
And so you really don't have the opportunity to
explore. Yes.
Unlike here in the UK where you can become anything you want if you wanted.
Yes.
To an extent.
And even there is some racism as well. So there is racism everywhere, but sometimes they would recommend to the black families to go to the labor
parts.
Yeah, even though
it
you are
even when
trained,
you're clever.
Yes, they would say, unless you are very, very good and very excellent, then it makes sense for you to go to university.
Yeah.
But if you are like in the middle, they would be like, I think you would be better doing this, or they wouldn't give you all the information, so you have to go for yourself. And it's very hard when you are 16 years old to decide what you want to do with your life. So
and how did you and your siblings, how did you navigate all this?
Thankfully, my parents were there for us, and thankfully we were good at school as well. So the question didn't come up because we were good. So it made sense for me to go into a scientific study domain. I don't know how you say that.
Okay, you're good at it. Okay.
Yes.
So you ended up going to which university in France?
Cergy-Pontoise, Université de Cergy-Pontoise, which is like in Paris.
Okay, in Paris. Okay. And then you studied?
Biochemistry and cellular biology.
You must have been very clever then for them to let you study that. So say that again, biochemistry and cellular biology.
Yes.
Flipping heck. Well done.
Thank you.
So I guess for you to have been selected to go into that program, you were like, I know you're trying to be humble, but let's say it as it is, you were clever. You were academically clever.
I'm okay.
Yeah? You're being humble. Okay, people don't study biochemistry and biomedical, whatever. Okay, so you went on to do that for, was it 4 years in France?
Well, the thing is, my journey hasn't been smooth.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
Okay.
So in French, you have to have a degree when you are 18. So it's like the last year of high school.
Okay.
It's called baccalaureate.
Yep.
I had that. Then you get into university. But as I said, deciding what you want to do with your life this early in life is complicated.
Yep.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do as a job. I was like, I like makeup. So I'm good at science. So I might work like in a makeup
like
field.
L'Oreal and
Exactly.
the rest of them.
So I went to a private school, but I failed miserably.
So you went to a private school?
Yes, to become an engineer in cosmetics.
Okay, so private school. How did you afford that? Is that scholarship?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
you're really clever, aren't you?
The school was...
You're trying to just slide that in and let that go. Okay,
yes,
okay.
Because I think the school was about 6,000-7,000 euros.
Okay.
But I had the scholarship.
Okay. So you went to study
engineering in cosmetics.
There's a degree for that.
Yeah, it's like chemicals. The title of the school was called I have to translate in my head.
Yeah.
EBI, which is like engineering, biology, industrials or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So, but I failed. I failed miserably. Well, not miserably. You had to. So you had different. Oh my days! You had different classes. Let's say like this. You had different classes. So mathematics, chemistry, science, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, and you had to have
a minimum.
You had to. You were allowed to have only 2 fails.
Okay.
So two classes that you can fail, and I failed 3.
Okay.
So I couldn't continue because I failed.
Was that in the first year or first semester?
Yes, it was. So it was the first year, yeah.
Okay.
And thankfully, I could have an equivalent for the university. University is free, it's public. And I also had a scholarship with that. So even though I failed my first year, I was able to get into the second year in university.
Okay.
Because my grade was good enough.
Still good enough to get into.
Yeah.
Okay. It just wasn't good enough for the private school.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So that was when you then decided to study
biology,
biochemistry,
and cellular biology.
Cellular biology. So what was the reason for that? Was that just, I'll just take what I get, or was there a reason behind that?
No, the only reason why was because I liked it.
Okay.
I didn't know what job I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I just went with what I like to do at school, and I like biology, so I went for that.
Okay. So that was another 3 years?
Yes, but then again... the first year, because private school, it's they are very on your back. They are very following you every step. You have a professor and everything. But in my school, there were no black people. We were three black people out of 120 students
in
my
private
class.
School or in
the private school.
Okay.
So, and the other black girl, she was not into African stuff. Let's say it like that. Yep. I was about to say she was a sellout.
Yep.
So we weren't really friends. So it was a bit complicated, even though we are all French, but not the same culture. When I came to university, in my class, there were a group of black women and black people in general. So we were having fun.
Yep.
I was sitting at the back of the class.
So you're having too much fun?
Too much. Okay. So I failed again.
How were your parents dealing with all this?
For the private school thingy, I didn't tell my dad. I just said, there is some exchange fee.
And it was like, okay, as long as you're still in university.
It was like, I was like, I'm going second year, so he doesn't know where. We don't need the details.
Is your dad still alive?
Yes, he is.
He's listening to this, just so you know.
It's in English.
No, it's being subtitled to him. Okay then.
So yeah, my mom, she knew because she was more on me.
Yep.
And she would lecture me. So the following year I was more serious.
Okay.
and I continued. So as I said, yeah, as you said, it's actually in France it's a 3-year process. I think here for the bachelor it's 4 years.
Yeah, but in England it's 3 years as well.
Yeah, for us bachelor is 3 years. So I have my bachelor degree in that field, and then you have to get into the master's degree.
Okay.
I did the first, so it's 2 years to get the master's. So in total it's 5.
Still in the same university, or you went somewhere else?
Yeah, still in the same. So I had the first year, and then this is where it gets complicated. So I was on my second year of to get my master's degree, and I failed again. But this time it was harder, to be honest. So basically, in France, they rate you out of 20, and you need to have minimum 10 out of 20 to pass. I had 9.78.
Just 0.22.
Yes. I'm telling you, I was like, you could like round it up. Like,
give it
why
to
are you
girl.
doing
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
You know? But they said no, and they told me you cannot repeat the year. So I was like, what am I supposed to do then? Because I failed. I want to repeat, but I can't. They were like, maybe you need to find another school or something, or we cannot help you. It is what it is. Because we have 2 semesters. I validated one, but I failed the other one. So they said it's either you should have failed everything or succeed everything, but because you are in the middle, we cannot help you. So it was very, very hard. And this time my dad did know. He know about it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And why did you decide to do a master's anyway if you already have your degree?
Because bachelor is not enough.
That was what my friend told me. Yeah, he said master's is like part of your curriculum over there.
Yeah.
And he said there are some schools that... So he's in finance.
Okay.
So he said there are some schools that if you go to those schools, it guarantees you success.
Yes.
But to get to that school,
yes,
it's very tough to get to those schools.
It's true.
Unlike because I was telling him, in the UK you can just go to, University of Roadside and become the CEO of a place. And I was like, there's no way.
No way. I'm telling you.
It's very classist. So if you're not in a certain class, a certain school, a certain days, you don't get to a certain place.
This is very true.
Yeah, okay. So for you, doing a master's was what was needed to get your career going.
Yeah.
Okay, and now you failed.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
That was my question.
Hopefully you figured it out since then.
Yes.
So it's okay.
Yes. So at first I was feeling like a failure because looking at my
Peers,
story, I was like, I've been failing every time, and this time is so close. I was very, very discouraged, and I was the only one in my promotion who failed. Everybody else had the degree, so I cut everybody. I blocked everybody. I didn't want to see their success or anything. I was a hater, I will say it.
So when you say blocked everybody, was this...
Yeah.
Were we in the social media era at this point? Okay, which of the social media? Was this before social media?
Yeah, we were on
Facebook.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I blocked them. And their phone number as well. I didn't want to talk to them. I don't want nobody to talk to me because you succeeded and I did not. Yeah. And there were a guy in my class who also had 9.8 or something, but because his mentor was really hyping him up, they were like, okay, it's okay for you. I was like, this is not even fair. So I was like, no, nobody talked to me, and I was very disappointed. My parents were very disappointed as well because I'm the second child. I'm the big sister. I'm supposed to be a good example, and I was not. So we had some family meetings where my dad would use me as an example. Don't do like her. It was not funny at the time, I'm telling you.
And this was not Zoom family meeting. This was in
person. I wanted to cry. I was like, oh no. But then I got some pride in me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a job even if I don't have the master's degree. So I started to look for a job in my field. So the master's degree that I did was a sales and marketing degree, but in the biotech biotech field. So I started to look for jobs, but I was looking for jobs at the same time as my peers were looking for jobs. So we were looking for the same jobs, but they had the degree and I didn't.
Yep.
So I had some job interview with people from my promotion, and actually once I was very close to get the job, and one of the guy of my promotion who I was competing against, he told them, "Oh, she doesn't have the degree," and we're like, "What? Well, I cannot take her if she doesn't have the degree. We'll take you." I was like, "That's not fair." Like, why are you doing this? You have the fucking degree. Sorry.
It's okay, man. It's okay. Just let it out. This is a therapy session.
So it was hard, and I've been looking for a job for a couple of years.
Okay.
At first,
but during this time, what were you doing? Were you doing sort of part-time jobs?
Yes, I was. So the first 6 months, I was delusional. I was like, I'm gonna get a job.
And you keep saying you don't have a degree, but you actually have a degree. You just don't have
a
master's.
Yeah.
But in France, you don't have a degree.
Yeah. Like the other one is just like
your degree is like high school. The master's is your degree.
That's so true.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the first 6 months I was very delusional. I was like, I'm gonna find a job anyways. But then I was living at my parents with my siblings, and I was a grown woman, so I couldn't ask for money to my dad when I have siblings, or ask to my mom, or my brother would sometimes give me money here and there, but I was feeling dependent on them, and I didn't like that because my mom and my parents raised me to be independent. So I looked for a job, and I was a waitress in a cafeteria for 2 years because and while I was doing the waitress thing, I was still looking for a job in my field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So take us through what happened then from that point on to, I guess, eventually finding a job.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did that all come to be?
So as I said, I was looking for a job. So I applied. I sent at least 300 resumes.
Yeah, I remember I saw your CV. You applied for a job in my bank. You're just sending CVs out to anywhere. Just anybody, just give me a job.
Please. And my dad would be like, "Look at you. You are cleaning tables." When you studied biology, I was like, "I'm not doing this on purpose." So I was looking for jobs, and they would tell me either, "Oh, you have the right profile, but we need someone with years of experience, at least 3 years." And I'm like, "I'm just out of uni. How can I have the experience?"
Yep.
Or they would tell me, "You have the right profile, but we need somebody with the master's degree, and you don't have one. So we need the paper."
Yep.
Because French people, they are very like, you need the paper. So no.
Yep.
And I kept on asking, and at first I was very disappointed of how I felt, that I really took it as a failure, and I would hide it in interviews. But eventually they would find out, and they would be like, "Oh, you lied, we cannot hire you." So I had to find a way to sell myself and without feeling like a failure. And accepting that it was okay, I didn't have it, but that doesn't define me as a person. So because I went to so many interviews, I managed to sell myself and get more confidence by the time, and to the time where actually I even thought, listen, they are telling me I don't have the paper degree, the master's, but I do have a bachelor's degree. So I'm going to look for a job that is lower, and maybe I can
work your way up.
Yes. They were like, you have too much diploma for us, so we cannot hire you.
Same story, man. Some people will say you're too high, some will say you're too low, and you're like, flipping heck, man.
Exactly.
Okay, if I'm too high, that's fine. I'll take it anyway. They're like, nah, you're too high.
Because they don't want to pay you.
They're
like, you have too many degrees, so no. So eventually, I found a job, and it was in Scotland. They told me, you have the right profile, and I was like, I don't have my degree. They were like, that's fine, we don't care about this. I was like, okay, that's different. I was like, I don't have experience. They said, it's okay, we will train you. That's different. So they said the only thing is you have to come and live in Scotland because the company is based in Scotland. It could have been in Antarctica. I would have gone.
I'm going. They want me, they appreciate me.
Yeah, no, I'm having a job in my field.
Yeah,
I'm not cleaning tables anymore. I'm not the bad example anymore. I will go.
Fantastic. So that brought you because at this point where you've been living in France all your life, speaking French, where did English come into it then, to the point where you could comfortably apply for a job in Scotland?
I always was kind of good in English because I was obsessed with African American content, movies, music. So, but that's another thing about French people. They don't like people who speak English. They're like, you're in France, speak French. Yep. So even when I wanted to practice, they'd be like, shut up, why are you, just speak French. So I really wanted to live in an English-speaking country so I could practice my English. So that was a bonus for me, actually. Okay,
so you've got a decent knowledge of English.
Yeah.
Enough for you to then apply for a job and then move to Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay. So you moved to Scotland. How long ago was this?
7 years already.
7 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And then how has everything played out since then, to the point where you got into fashion and all that? Do you want to sort of play that out for us?
Sure. So I moved in a city called Ayr. It's by the beach.
Is Ayr a city? I thought it was a town.
There are
8 cities in Scotland. Ayr is not on the list.
Fair enough.
I was thinking, Ayr. When did Ayr become a city?
Sorry, in a town.
Okay, let's assume it's a city. So you moved to the city of Ayr.
Yes, because the company was based in Ayr.
Okay.
So I lived in that town.
Okay. And what was it like for you? I mean, you've been in France, Paris all your life, and then you found yourself in Ayr. How did you adjust to that?
It was very different because coming from a multicultural city, very busy city, to a small town, not very cultural at all. Like there were absolutely no black people in there when I moved in. It was different. Yeah. But I didn't even have time for this. Yeah. And the thing is, the Scottish people that I've been encountering, they all were very nice, very friendly. The first night that I came in Scotland, I remember the first time I came to that city, I was looking for my hotel because I didn't have a house or anything. I had no family, no friend, no house, no nothing. I had to start from scratch. And the first night I was looking for my hotel and I asked direction to someone. First thing, he was speaking to me. I was like, is it English? Because I couldn't understand what he was saying because of his accent. And then because he could see that I couldn't understand him, he was like, you know what? Let me show you. And he took my suitcase and he came with me. I was shocked because in Paris, they don't have your time.
Yeah, no way. It's amazing though. Like those moments, this story you just shared with me, you'll probably be sharing it for the next 20, 30 years, right? And that's why as human beings, that little act of kindness can mean so much to that person. It may not mean much to you, but to that person, it may mean so much. Because I've got an instance as well, right? So when I moved to Liverpool, this was me coming straight from Nigeria. So like massive difference, right? And then these were the days before, you're going to work out my age and I'm an old man. These were the days before Google Map and any of these things where you had to actually look at the map on the book. Like, you know, I don't know if you have it in France where they have A to Z maps.
Yes, we do.
Yep. So A to Z Liverpool. I was like, I'm trying. I was getting, I've never read maps before in Nigeria. There were no such thing. People just tell you, go left, then turn right. Then when you get to the end, you find a tree, turn left. And then now I have this map and I have to try and find. So I was trying to find my way. And then I saw this lady walking past and I went to her and I was like, excuse me, please, I'm trying to get to this place, right? And true story, she said, okay, she just saw a taxi coming. She flagged the taxi, told me to go in, told the taxi, take him to this place, give the taxi guy 20 quid.
What?
Like, I would never, ever forget that.
Wow.
And then that was me off. And then the curve ball or the punchline was at the end of the trip, the taxi guy was trying to keep the change. I was like, nah, that's
a real Nigerian.
African change. That's not for you. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? But yeah, and I remember that, and I will never forget that. And then that has then prodded me to do those random acts of kindness sometimes as well, just because of that, because I know, if I give this guy this thing right now, it probably means so much to him, but to me it doesn't mean much, right? So, but anyway, I diverse, but it's just humanity, right? Because there's so much rubbish going on in the world, so every once in a while those nice acts of kindness can really go a long way, and even change your opinion about a people or a place. But anyway, so first night, someone showed you the way to your hotel. It's okay. And then I guess eventually you settled into life in Scotland.
So the company I came in, they actually were French. I was working in the French division of that company.
Right.
So my direct colleagues, they were French.
Right.
And
French
the whole
in Scotland. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were all going to the office. We would speak French. The customer would be French.
Right. Okay.
But when we go out of our office, we would speak English with the others.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was good for me to get in.
Yeah. So still do a bit of French and a bit of English.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they really helped me. And in that company, I met so many friends. I had a really good time there. And that's where I started my fashion business, actually. My colleagues were my first models and my first customers as well.
Okay. So how did that all come to be? Because everything you've told us till now, Paris, everything, there was no fashion in it. There was no creativity in it.
There were. I just didn't tell you.
Okay, let's go back then. Let's take the story back to Paris. So give us a bit of where this was coming up and what you did with it then, and then how this then manifested in Scotland.
Okay, so I was going to a Congolese church when I was in Paris, and you know how Congolese people, we dress well, okay? And so they were having African clothing.
You guys always rock.
You know.
Guys,
if you know, you know. And so as I was going there, I also wanted that, and I went to the tailor to get a dress done. But I was a student at the time, so I didn't have the money. I was like, okay, I'm going to save some money. And one day I was in IKEA for something else. I saw a sewing machine, and I thought I could either buy one dress with the tailor or buy the sewing machine and make many dresses. I went for the sewing machine.
Wow. When was this? High school?
No, I was 22. It was in 2012.
So this was when you were doing the cleaning job? Uni. Okay.
Yeah.
So you bought sewing machine just like that?
Yeah. I never touched the sewing machine before.
And no prior interest in fashion before that?
I would watch like runaway shows. I was really into America fashion model, with Tyra Banks.
Right.
So I liked fashion.
Okay.
And I'm Parisian, please. It is part of me, you know.
You're Parisian, you're Congolese, like boom.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
So I started fashion, but I started sewing, but for myself. It was never the plan to start a business or anything.
Okay, so were you sewing a full cloth, or were you just sort of mending?
Full clothes.
Full cloth.
Yeah. Okay. And at the time, we didn't have social media like that. So it was blogs that I was watching step by step how to make a dress or something. And then
so you didn't go learn it in a... You just learned how to sew on YouTube and blogs.
Yes. Because with what money?
Interesting. So why did that never take off then? Why didn't it take off when you were in Paris?
Because it was not my goal.
Yeah, that was just something you did on the side.
Yeah, it was a hobby. It was not a side also, it was a hobby.
Right.
I liked doing that for me.
Yep.
I like doing dresses for me, so on Sunday I can also flex. That was the only reason.
Okay.
And then I started to do dresses for my mom, for my siblings.
Still in Paris?
While I was in Paris during those time. My first design, my mom would do the dress... Yeah. It was so tight, the dress would break.
So funny, man.
You learn, you know.
Yeah, okay. Then you learn to make some areas flexible.
Yeah.
And all that. Okay. So you were doing it as a hobby in France.
Yes.
And you found yourself in Scotland. Then
yes.
Why did you decide to go from hobby to, I can do something with this? What was the spark?
So when I came to Scotland,
Yep.
I bought a swing machine because that was my hobby. So I bought one here and I continued my hobby. But then seeing that there is no black people in the city, I was like, they don't know about African prints. Let me introduce them to it. So that's where it came from. I was like, I want to share my culture. I want to share my love for fashion. And I want to share African colors because everybody is wearing gray, black. It's so dark. So that's where it came from. But I had imposter syndrome because I'm not a professional. I told you I learned with YouTube. And I was like, if I'm about to sell this to customers, it needs to be professional, but I'm not professional. But my mom told me, you are not perfect now, but just start and you will get perfect along the way. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So that's how it started.
Fantastic. Just start now.
Yeah.
I love your mom. No, it's true. I love her because I've met a lot of people that have got great ideas that have shared it with me 10 years, 15 years ago, and they've still not started because they're trying to perfect it.
Yeah.
Flip, man. If you just start, you're going to be perfect. I mean, there's no such thing as perfect anyway.
Exactly.
You're going to get better every day. All right. It's like this blog. I listened to this this podcast.
Yeah.
Right? I found it. And when I jumped into the podcast, I jumped into the 357th episode, right? And then it was later, I was like, then I was watching it backwards, 356, 355. And I thought, it's extra work for me doing that. Why don't I go to one and then it just plays automatically? And then
the quality.
Oh, Lord. And then I was like, there's a story here.
Yeah.
Like, it started.
Yeah.
Even though it was rubbish, it started. And then it's funny. So I'm now on about 160. And it's interesting to see the journey from episode 1 to 10, 20, and the improvement.
Yes.
The quality, the improvement in the quality, and then the improvement in the delivery, the improvement in the sound and everything. And now it's on 357. It's just crushing it. And that's the thing, like, people are waiting to be perfect, and I'm like, no, you're gonna get perfect on the job.
True.
Just start.
Yes.
Find what you can use to start now and start, and then when you get anyway.
And also, if I can add to what you're saying, some people will listen to episode 360 or whatever when they are at their episode 5, so you cannot compare to someone you know.
You need to know where you are on your journey.
Exactly.
And your journey is your journey. And there's also something around just having good people around you. True. So people like me.
Excuse us.
People that can say, just freaking start.
Yes.
And then when you get better, you get better, right? Instead of just sitting there saying, I still want to go and take this extra training. I want to go and do this program. I think I should get a certificate.
Buy the perfect equipment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You're like, nah, man, just buy the £3 one on eBay.
Exactly.
Crack on, and then maybe just
build.
Anyway, I think we're on the same wavelength. And so you started. Eventually, I guess the imposter syndrome was probably still there, but you just went with it anyway.
Yes.
And then, so tell us how that all sort of manifested.
Yes. So as I said, I knew nobody in Scotland. So all the people I knew were from my job.
Yep.
So one of my colleagues that became a friend told me, you should do markets with Super Glasgow Market, because this is an event where people go and they just sell the stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, and I went there.
Like, as in, take your stuff there, like a stall.
So exactly. So I had a stall, but it was organized by an organization.
Sure.
So I went there and I started with dresses and bow ties and pocket square for men.
Okay.
Then I was speaking with another colleague, and she was like, I love what you do, but on you, I don't see myself wearing colorful stuff like this. This is too much for me. Maybe you should have something small for people like me who just
just tone it down.
So that's how I was like, maybe I can do hair accessories like the one I have here. And it sold very well, more than the dresses and skirt, because people could,
it's easy,
include it in their fashion journey or whatever. So taking advices from my friend here and there, that's how I started my business. Then I started my own websites. And I really wanted to be professional. I wanted to deliver. I really had like an idea of what I wanted. So that's how it started and happened.
Okay. So and at this point, you are still doing your 9 to 5, or when you started, you were still doing your 9 to 5. And when you started then in Scotland, was the hope then, I don't know what the plan is now, was the hope then to grow it to the point where you can stop working and just focus on fashion? or is it something you're thinking, I love what I'm doing at work, I love my chemistry, biology thing, and I can just do this on the side? What was the plan then, if there was a plan?
Then the plan was never, I didn't really had high hopes because I was building out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And also my plan was to stay in Scotland for 2 or 3 years so I could get that freaking experience. So I could go back to France and find a job there.
I'm like, I've got 3 years experience now, give me that freaking job.
Exactly. You cannot tell me I don't have the experience now, you know. So that was my plan. I wanted to stay in Scotland only for 2 or 3 years. But then I loved Scotland. And I stayed. I'm here year 7. So yeah, I never had like that plan. But then the more I was doing it, then I started to do fashion shows as well. I started to go to events because I didn't know anybody. So I was doing networking events to try to get into the business, to try to get to know people, to try to get my name out there as well because nobody knows me. And that's how I started to build. And then I was like, maybe that's actually a good business idea and maybe I want to do it full time. But now, even though it's year 7, I do love my job as a sales account manager in a biotech company. I do love the money that it brings too, let's be honest.
So you're more on the sales side of the science technology. You're not like in the lab.
No, I did an internship back when I was a student.
Okay.
And I hated working in the lab.
Okay.
I hated seeing them with their Star Trek t-shirt and being geeky and all the stuff and be so passionate about what they're doing. That was not my thing. But then we went to an event there and I saw salespeople selling lab equipment to those geek people. So I was like, that's for me because they were dressing up, they were talking and trying to
sell.
They were
more interesting.
I was like, no, this is for me. So that's why I went for that job.
Okay, and that's what you're doing now.
Yes.
So you wanted to stay for 2 years and now this is 7 years. So what kept you in Scotland for that long or longer than you planned?
I love the people, the friends that I made here, the life that I created here. I love the landscape, the beauty. I come from a city, Paris, very busy. People don't have time. I love the quietness of here. I just find my rhythm here, and
that was the wrong answer. The right answer should have been, I came across you, Enoch, and I thought I need to stay in Scotland, man. That was the right answer.
I didn't know you back then.
Okay. So now Scotland is home.
Yes.
You're still doing your sales, science, biology,
so
chemistry.
So the title is sales account manager.
Sales account manager. Sam.
Yeah.
So you're Sam.
Yeah.
You're Sam. Yep. Okay. And then you are also growing your fashion brand.
Yeah.
And I've seen you in some places. You've been a finalist at the Black Scottish Awards twice through your fashion brand, and you've been doing a lot of other things as well around sort of promoting your fashion. How is it going? Is it where you want it to be at this stage, or do you think do you think it could have gotten further than where it is currently?
I think I'm right on time.
Okay.
I'm not putting any pressure on myself on I should be here or I should be there. I think I am where I need to be. But I also have still ambitions, and I want to continue to grow.
Okay.
I want to become very known in the whole Scotland, not because I think I'm starting to be known in Glasgow. Starting, but I want to be known everywhere. I want to become the reference for African fashion in Scotland.
Okay. And also I see there are other fashion outfits coming out of Scotland, so I see there's a bit of collaboration and cooperation going on between you all, which is fantastic, which is beautiful to see. So that can only be good for you because you guys can do stuff together, and also it can only be good for those of us in the Black community and the wider Scottish community, because then I guess at some point you start thinking, how can we infuse some of our fashion into the Scottish fashion, which is where things really begin to get exciting.
Yes, and I think it's getting built because from what I've heard from others in the fashion business in Scotland, when someone is good in fashion, they go to London because there is not a huge
There's only so much you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to be very big, you just leave. And it's a shame. We want to be big here. We want to build here. And for the next generation to also look up to somebody here, not somebody that left. So I think a lot of creative are trying to build that. And I want to be part of it and put my part in it as well.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. So we're going to be wrapping up the show now. And we have a tradition here where the previous guest leaves an advice for the current guests. So the previous guests left an advice, and they don't know who the next guest will be. They just leave an advice. The advice left by the previous guest was be courageous.
Okay.
So hopefully that applies to you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can take that away. So is there any advice you want to leave for our next guests?
Yes. Be bold and shameless.
Love it.
And not in the wrong way.
It's all right.
Like, go for what you want and don't wait. Yeah.
Just go get it.
Exactly.
I like it. Yeah, because I think sometimes, I get, even with people that don't, the example, what we're talking about, people that don't start, is because they are shameful about the fact that, I don't want to put something that is not top quality out there. And then because of that, they hold themselves back. But you're like, you know what, just freaking put it out there. It's not going to be 100% on day one, but then you build towards 100%.
Exactly.
So there's something powerful about being shameless, which is strange. Yeah, where you're just sort of putting yourself out there, thinking, you know what, if it falls, it falls. If it stands, fantastic. Like I'm willing to put myself out there and fail.
And even if you fail, next time you don't start from scratch. You start from experience.
Yeah.
So you still gain something.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, looking at your transition from the private school to the university, one could say you failed private school, but that was just you transitioning. So just the transition point. So failure can be redefined. What's failure? Right?
Exactly.
Lovely. It's been fantastic chatting with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
And there's a new tradition I want to bring in again, but I'm not sure if there's enough time. Is there any question you have for me, the host? You only have like 5 seconds to ask any question.
Yes.
If there's any, go for it.
I see you busy on LinkedIn.
Why are people always asking this? Anytime I give people a chance to ask this question, this is all they ask. Is there nothing else about my life that you're busy? Anyway, go for it.
How can we manage to be like you?
Oh, what was the last answer I gave? I need to have an answer for this. I don't know. I'm fortunate in the sense that again, just my mindset of just get things done, right? I'm very quick at getting things done.
Okay.
So how people see it and they think and they process. I don't.
Okay.
If I'm doing this, I'm going. I'm not thinking too much about it. So that way, I cut out time more than most people. And then even when it comes to the doing side of things, I'm very good at focusing.
Okay.
All right. So even though people see me on social media a lot, I'm not a social media person. I'm not a consumer.
Okay.
So you won't see me scrolling on social media. Never. So I don't consume people's content. I don't want to say it in a bad way, like I'm not interested. It's just I don't have the time to consume.
Yeah.
So, and because I try to sort of chop up my life into, I've got to do my own things. I've got to spend time with my wife. I've got to spend time with my children.
Yeah.
So I want to win on all those fronts. So that guides how I do things, how quickly I do things, or how slow I do things. And I just wake up early as well. I start my day at 5.
Wow.
So that helps. So by the time the world is waking up at 8, 9, I've done 3, 4 uninterrupted hours of good stuff.
That's good.
And for me as well, because I know myself, at this time of the day, it's already 8:20 in the studio. My brain is already shutting down. But at 5 in the morning, my brain is super sharp. So things that would take me maybe an hour to do at 8 p.m. will probably take me 2 minutes to do at 5 a.m. because my brain is just super sharp. So I've known that about myself. So I wake up early, get a lot of things done, so that I can then fit more things into my life. But I don't know if that is any useful stuff. But that's the only thing I can think of for me to sort of do all these things I do. I just get things done quickly without spending too much time on it. Because I've come across some really smart people that take so much time thinking and processing, which is a good thing. It's a good skill. I don't have that skill. I'm just like, Like genuinely, even the I Am Black conference,
Yeah.
it was a case of it took us less than 6 months to put that together.
Really?
It was a case of it just came to my head and I was like, we're doing this. And I told the guy that was next to me, like, do a video of me announcing I am black. At this point, I had no
script.
no scripts, nothing. I was like, do a video of me saying I am black, blah blah blah, and I knew once I said it, it's gonna happen, and that was it. So that's the way my brain works.
Okay.
I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, I wonder why I work like this, and I said, I think maybe it's because my time here on earth is short, and she was like,
Don't say that! Don't say that, please! We rebuke it!
You rebuke it in Jesus' name. Because I was like, I'm always in a hurry. I'm always trying to get things done quickly. So that's how my brain works. Anyway,
Okay.
we've overshot our time, so we're gonna get in trouble. So thank you very much at home for joining us in the studio. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show as much as I have. I've learned a few things about being Parisian and being Congolese and everything. And thank you very much for coming to share your journey with us.
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we'll continue to see you excel and succeed with your fashion and with the bigger vision you have around why don't we grow it in Scotland. Hopefully you get to achieve that. Thank you very much, Belocine.
Thank you so
and
much.
until next time, see you all
See
later.
you.
Bye.